It's like, I don't even know what you thought when you started. I never started, by the way, completely unviolent guy, completely unviolent guy. It was entirely self-defense every time the only fights, what?
It's all self-defense. I didn't do it.
No, seriously, it was. No, seriously, I've never started a fight in my life. I've never gone, right, I'm just gonna fucking fight this guy. I wanna beat the shit out of somebody. Never. Completely unviolent guy. But if pushed, I'll defend myself. Anybody will. Anybody will defend themselves. And I had to defend myself a few times in high school. Everybody does, for some degree or another. And somebody was always the aggressor. Always. And they'd start, and I'd get hit in the face. And I was like, there's no fucking way you just hit me in the face, sir. I am quite annoyed by that. In fact, no, I'm not annoyed. I'm entirely infuriated. Infuriated. And, I mean, I used to have a rage problem. Big time. Big time. I don't think I do nowadays, but I used to have a big rage problem. And this is where the looks came from. That's like born... There's a look you can give people that you can't fake. You can't teach somebody. You can't explain this look. This look comes from... within. Well, it does. It comes from within. It's a concoction of rage and fury and insanity combined that you just cannot... You can't teach, you can't practice, you can't just gain. You need to have actually gone through a life of that kind of way to have bred and distilled this fury. And when somebody pushes you to a fucking limit, that's when it comes out. And that's what throws people off. That's what throws people off, because you give them a look that they've never seen before. They've never seen it. And it throws them off. It makes them scared. It genuinely makes them scared. It's like, I have never seen somebody look like that. Especially like somebody like, you know, before 20 and like early 20s. They just go like, I've never seen anybody give me a look like that. You know, I've seen, like, women give me evils and stuff like that. I've seen guys give me, like, scowls and glares and shit like that. I've never seen somebody with a look in their eyes of pure fury.
Fury.
Absolute, complete, undistilled hate and loathing and fury and just like, if I could... I would fucking slay you on the spot.
Slay you. I'm gonna slay you.
I'm gonna fucking bring out my +10 sword of badass and fucking twat you in the fucking balls. And the only reason I say I'm gonna twat you in the balls is because I want you to feel agony before I rip your fucking soul in half. It's that kind of look. And you can't emulate it. You can't just summon it out of nowhere. It has to have been born from some event. Some event in your life has given you the ability to summon that kind of rage. And like I say, you just can't summon it at will. It has to. You have to fucking. If you haven't fucking had that kind of life or whatever like that, you can't fucking. You can't do it. But I can. Screw it.
Almost given me that look of
yeah.
Before. You've given me sort of like the half version. I shit my fucking
Yeah, Claire was just saying there, like, I don't think you've ever given me that look before, but maybe half of it, and I have. In the in the early days when you first moved in, and you know, things were tough. It was completely, it was new for us both and stuff like that. And I mean, I'm a loner. I'm not like a group kind of guy. I'm a loner. So, like, being committed to a lass was very alien to me. Absolutely foreign as fuck. And for a while, I reached... It's like, don't get me wrong, guys, I fucking loved Claire and stuff like that, and I wanted to be with her and shit.
not now.
Yeah, past tense, obviously. And, but like, I'd gotten used to living by myself. You know, like, you live by yourself for so long. I mean, I said this to you recently, didn't I? Like, You live for yourself, live by yourself and for yourself for so long, you actually become acclimatized to it. You actually enjoy that now. It's like a defense mechanism. You learn to cope with being by yourself for so long of a time and stuff like that, that you learn to actually like it. It's best defense mechanism, isn't it? It doesn't feel bad anymore. It feels good. So it's a good mental defense. And when Claire moved in, it was like it was great for like a month or two, and then like the rejection started to set in. Like, I don't like this anymore. I don't want to have to like, you know, be committed and look after other people like the cats and Claire and everything like that. I just want to be back by myself again. I don't want the commitments. I don't want the stress. I don't want the worry and shit like that. And yeah, like not easy for that first year or so. Not easy. And I think it was during that second year where I mean, everybody argues from time to time and stuff like that. But like I say, my problem was I had a rage issue as well, didn't I? So, a problem that should have just been like an argument for like 10 minutes and then done. It wasn't just like an argument for 10 minutes. From my side, it was a complete assault, wasn't it? It was like an infuriated berserker rage. Like, I mean, some of you guys, some of the veterans will know from the early videos. I mean, you've seen me rage. And yet you'll notice in the past year or two, it's actually subsided, hasn't it? It's gotten less and less and less. And how often do you see me rage now? Like, ever? Like, ever. And that's because I've got it under control. And it's like, it's completely fucking subsided now. But like I say, I mean, I'll be the first person to admit that I had a fucking rage problem for a long time. For a long time. And that was born. And like I said, that's how you can tap into that look. Because that is a rage. And people don't know what rage looks like. I can guarantee you guys. Okay, well, briefly, as we were saying, like, Joe, during that period, like, I've given Claire, like, looks of that, but not the full extent. And even that terrified Claire. I mean, I've apologised many a time and stuff like that, but...
Oh, I know, yeah, you can talk about this, you don't need to worry about me getting angry or anything, because I know the story.
I mean, like I say, guys, the rage when playing a game was nothing. It was really nothing. Absolutely nothing. The rage in real life was pretty fucking nasty. Yeah, scary. And that's what I was getting. That's what I was saying. Like, that guy in the pub, terrified. That guy who was the photo store's clerk. As I was saying, I actually jumped off the story. He was pushing his luck. He was always taking the piss out of me and other folk and stuff like that. He started taking the piss out of other folk and I was already annoyed. And then he started taking the piss out of me. And that was like a multiplier effect. It's like, well, you already annoyed me and now you've outright fucked me off. And he started, and he started, and he started. And eventually, I just fucking blew my lid. And I gave him a fucking mouthful. I almost jumped. He had like a little counter sort of thing behind like where he was stood. I almost fucking jumped. My housemate kind of like pulled me back a little bit. As it, like, he kind of like put... Well, he put his hand back like in front of me a little bit to say like, dude, fucking don't. Because he knew. He knew what I was like when I got fucking angry. And he put his hand in ways to say like, look, I'm not going to hold you back because I don't want to get involved. But don't, man, seriously. And he stopped me from jumping over the fucking counter and laying it. Like I said, I ain't a violent guy, but when I get fucking enraged, that's an entirely different fucking... Because you don't have control anymore. That's the point, innit? That's the definition of rage. You don't have any control. No control whatsoever. You don't realise what you're saying, you don't realise what you're doing, you don't realise how you look and what the impression you're giving is. You don't fucking realise, no. And like I say, a lot of folk don't even know what rage looks like. A lot of folk don't even know what it looks like. They think that they've seen like somebody really angry, and that's rage. It's like, no, it's I can guarantee you guys, unless you've ever been stunned by somebody's anger, you've not seen rage. And you only saw a fraction as well. If it's enough to make it was enough to make clear, like, whoa, what? Like,
I was really quite scared.
Scary kind of shit. Like, and if that's only like a small percentage of what it was actually like, you can imagine another guy being quite worried about what's going to happen. But that's like I said, there's been a few instances where I've given people that look, and like I say, it completely. I tell you something, they never say "oh" ever again. It works. They never say "oh" ever again. So, TG, how the hell did you get over it? Eh? I'm really interested. It was actually quite hard, to tell you the truth. Like, really fucking hard. Really, really difficult. It was, you know what? I can't even tell you the story without actually telling you the full details. I've always kept it to myself. But, I mean, it's back end of a stream and stuff like that, and most of you guys here now are like, you fucking guys are cool and shit. But I've always kept this to... Pardon?
You guys are cool.
Yeah, well, they are.
I know. Just having fun with you.
Like I say, I've never said a single word about this, ever.
To me?
No, obviously to you. But never said a single word to, on any video or any stream or like that. And it's not from embarrassment, it's more just like, there's a certain line of your private life that you keep to yourself. Like, I mean, to be honest, you guys get like 95%. Like, I don't fucking keep anything, like, you know, held back or anything like that, or, you know, like, I say all kinds of shit, you know, like, I used to skive school and shit, you know, I ain't proud of it, but, you know, I tell you about it and shit like that. It makes for an interesting story, at least. And, but there was a certain line that I drew, and I've never crossed it. I've never crossed it. And like I say, it's not from embarrassment, but it's more from just like, you know, that was a period in my life that I didn't fucking, you know, it was shit. It was really shit. I mean, it ended out alright, but, you know, it was shit, and I've always just kept it to myself, like, it's in the past, it's in the past, it's in the past. And this is gonna sound so fucking like, well, you and every other fucking playthrough are OTG. But I used to suffer from depression. Like, really, like, quite badly. Quite badly. It seems kind of funny, doesn't it? Like, I mean, to be honest, like,
Funny's the word.
it seems strange, doesn't it? Like, you know, fun-loving guy, always having a laugh and shit like that, you know. It seems like, what could you possibly have been depressed about and shit like that? You're always having fun, and, like, people have always, like, I've always had loads of friends and shit like that. I've always fucking, you know, I've always, you know, played games and had fun and hung out with people, been out drinking and etc. And it's like, you know, like what the fuck, you know, why would you have depression? And the thing is, for the longest fucking time, this is the difference as well. Like, some folk will say, oh, I've got depression just because they're feeling down, and it's like, well, no, you're just feeling down, dude. There's a big difference with hardcore depression. And like I said, I had hardcore depression. And it sneaks up on you. You don't even realise. It comes out of nowhere. You don't even know that you're depressed. You don't even realise. Because that's the worst part of depression. You don't feel anything. Oh yeah, don't get me wrong, like, people can be depressed for many reasons, stuff like that. And like I say, it depends on different things, but... And people have different types of depression. But mine was the type where you don't feel anything. You don't feel anything. You don't feel happy. You don't feel sad. You don't ever get excited. You don't look forward to anything. You just feel nothing. You're like a shell. There's nothing going on inside. You know, to everybody else on the outside, oh, it's Liam, you know, he's having fun, he's playing his games, he's hanging out with his mates and stuff like that. He's having a laugh and shit like that and blah, blah, blah. And it's just autopilot. There's nothing going on inside. I'm not enjoying it. I'm not, like, hating it. Like, say we're out having a drink and stuff like that. In fact, like, just the example I was saying, like, not long ago, about giving that look at that guy in that pub and stuff like that. I had depression back then. And the only thing that I could ever feel The only thing I could ever feel when I was depressed was rage. That's the only emotion I could ever actually notice that's where I felt. And that's why it was so fucking scary to some people, no doubt. But to everybody else, that was Liam. You know, fun guy who was always up for everything. You know, always having a laugh and shit like that. You know, no problems and shit like that. You know, let's all go around to fucking Liam's house and have a fucking good night and shit like that. Let's go out. Fucking, I'll get Liam out. He's always a fucking laughing and shit. You know, like, nobody told... Even my mother couldn't tell a difference. But she could. She just didn't realise it. Because what it all stemmed from was my dad dying. My dad died when I was 14. And it crushed me. Holy shit. Like... I mean, any parent dying is always going to be bad, but me and my dad, like, just for some brief backstory, my dad was very ill for all my life. He was ill from the day I was born to the day that he died, and I had to see him like that all through his fucking life. You know, like, he was alright most of the time, but there was periods of him being, like, really, really fucking ill. And, because he was ill so much, he couldn't work. So my mum worked. So my dad raised me from a baby. From a baby, pretty much. My mum went to work. She pulled in an awesome living. She worked for GI Case, which was a big tractor company. Like JCB, well, Case do tractors as well and shit. And it was American owned. In fact, it was only about 5 minutes not even 5 minutes down the road from where I live right now, where she worked. And she was pulling in an awesome wage. Awesome wage. It was incredible. And, but like I say, she went to work and my dad raised me. So, it's like, it wasn't just my dad. My dad was extra cool because he was the one that was bringing me up. He taught me well. He you know, like, you know, being honourable and nice, you know, good to folk, you know, how to be clever and smart, how to apply yourself, like, every good thing, every good element that is me has come from him. Every bad element is of my own device. Yeah. Every bad element has been my poor choices through life. Every good element has come from him. And there's some good stuff I've done as well, don't get me wrong, like, but you know, like, the good stuff is his teaching. And, he wasn't just my dad. He was my hero. He was my friend. He was my tutor. It was everything you could ask for in a person and more. And when he died, it just crushed me. It was like, my life was pretty much over. I honestly didn't care at that point. I didn't. You see, do you know, all the you see, this is like the final piece. If you've ever been, like, piecing together, like, bits of the puzzle about my past and shit like that, that's the final piece of the puzzle that I'd been withholding for so fucking long. That's when I started to skive. You know, all the bad shit, you know, I started skiving, started smoking, started drinking, hanging out with fucking people that I shouldn't have been, stuff like that. That's when it started, because I didn't give a fuck at that point. I didn't give a fuck. If I'd have died, I wouldn't have cared. I really wouldn't. I didn't even care about... I couldn't feel it. I couldn't feel it. You know, like... You know, for about... It's really... I said this before. I think I said this to you, Claire, before. Where I remember being in the hospital, and me and my mum were in the waiting room. Because he were going into cardiac arrest, like, for, like, the fucking 20th time or whatever. So they rushed us out there so they could operate and do work on him. And, oh, yeah, dude. Yeah, the memories I wouldn't trade for the world. I had the best childhood in the world. I would not fucking trade you £10 million for my childhood. No fucking way. I had the best childhood in the world. And, you know, a tragic event... As tragic as it may be, I still wouldn't fucking change it. It's pretty much the definition of better to have loved than lost than to never loved at all and shit. Like that rough kind of thing, you know. It was I much preferred to experience what I did as a child, growing up with my dad and my mum and everything like that, and you know, my family. than to not have had it at all. To not have had it at all. And like I say, as I was saying, like we were in the waiting room, and this doctor comes in and says, "I'm very sorry, but you're just talking to my mum, but your husband's dead." And I swear to God, I've never had like an out of body experience, but that is the closest I think I'll ever get in my life. I was sat there, and I swear to God, I almost saw like an illusion of myself just kind of like stand up and walk away, like my soul had died. I shit you not, I hand on heart, that's what it was fucking, that's what it just like a glimmer, that's what it's fucking, it's weird, it's hard to explain. Because obviously I didn't see that, but I kind of did at the same time. Like I saw myself just fucking get up and walk straight through the fucking wall, like gone, like I died. Horrific. And from that point, a switch just got fucking flicked in my head. It just went click, and that was it. I went from being Liam 14 and below to Liam 14 and above. It just, like I say, it's like a switch got flicked. And I changed overnight. Completely different person. Completely different person. And my mum was like, "Oh, this was like about a week or two later, so, oh, well, you know, you've grown up so much, Liam," and stuff like that. I think she was just trying to like give me